everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. So we're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today Lori and I just got done playing Horizons of Spirit Island. Yeah, this is a 2022 title, and the reason why we were interested in this, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, it's at Target, and their Target has a couple of games for $29.99 in there that are really good board games, gamer type of games. And the other one that we picked up was Raiders of the North Sea. And I wanted to play this one more than Raiders of the North Sea. I knew I liked Raiders of the North Sea. We had played that at a game store a few years back, and we enjoyed it. And actually we enjoyed it more than some of the other titles in that series. Architects of the West Kingdom we've played, and Viscounts of the West Kingdom, and they were okay, but not good enough to put in our library. So we thought, well, we actually enjoyed Raiders of the North Sea better, so we wanted to pick that up. And Target was having a buy one get one half off, right? So we looking at the other games that they had, and I said, hey, they've got a copy of Spirit Island. Isn't that the one that, you know, is supposed to be a streamlined version of Spirit Island? And we said, well, let's go ahead and get that one. So we ended up getting both of them, which you buy one get one half off. We paid $22.50 for each box. And that's why I was curious about these two games, because I know that they were a little different in production value, and I wanted to know if the games were exactly the same. So here we go with this. First of all, the box is pretty, you know, for what it's holding, it's pretty decent. It's a decent enough box that you get in Spirit Island here. You get 5 spirits with the game. You get a bunch of cards. You have a minor power and major power deck. You have a fear deck. You have invader cards. And they're all linen. I mean, these are all linen cards, which is pretty nice. The tokens are thick. They're real nice tokens. I mean, in the original Spirit Island, they had these little miniature figures for the explorers and cities and stuff, and we didn't like that, actually, because they got tangled up and you had to mess around with. I don't know, we just didn't like that. I'd rather use these tokens. So in that regard, it was a step up for us. And the board itself is linen. It's 2-sided. It has a side for 2 players. It has a side for 3 players, and you can play the solo, so it's for 1 to 3 players. The rule book is it's 23 pages of rules, I think. Maybe more than that. I don't know. It's a lot of rules in this rule book. The font is big, thank you, for the publisher. But there's a lot to this game. And in this game, and this is probably what they mean by a streamlined version of the game, it has a Horizons of Spirit Island quick start guide. And it walks you through a few turns in the beginning of a game. One turn in the beginning of a game. And, after we went through that one turn, I don't think it did that much to teach us the game. And here's the deal. Lori and I played Spirit Island at a convention. I think Spirit Island came out in 2017, I'm pretty sure. And we played it at a convention that year, and I read the rule book there, and by reading the rule book and looking at the game, I said, we're not spending any more time on this today. It looked like it was going to take a while to learn this game, and I wasn't wrong. I'm glad we walked away from it that day. But when we saw this in Target and heard it was supposed to be, had a quick start guide, a little bit easier type of thing, we decided to pick it up and try it out. And you know, this game is still pretty complex. There's nothing, I don't think they removed anything from the game. They just, I guess this quick start guide is what they consider a better teaching tool than what they originally put in Spirit Island. And Spirit Island, I understand, costs a little, like 80 bucks or 60 or 80 bucks. It's very expensive, and you can get this for $29.99 at Target. So if you're interested in Spirit Island, by all means, I would go this route. Gosh, 30 bucks. And they run sales at Target, and like I say, because we got buy one, you get one half off. So we ended up getting Raiders of the North Sea and this game. Again, production value for 30 bucks is decent. Yeah, it's pretty good. I was pretty impressed, actually, because I thought it would be a little bit more chintzy as far as production value. Now, the game itself, we just got done playing, and it took us 4 complete hours to figure out the rules and to, even with the quick start guide, and to play the entire game. And we had some interruptions. We went to church and we watched a movie, but I think it took us about 4 hours total. So I'm guessing. And I think if we played this more and more, I think we could get a 2-player game of this down to 2 hours. I mean, I'm just getting a feel for it. We don't, I'm not going to play it again. I will alert you right there, because I just didn't have fun with this game. I thought it was rules heavy for what it is. I would rather play Pandemic, Legends of Andor, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Horrified, because those games just are more fun because they have a flow to them that feels slicker and smoother. The flow of this game just felt choppy, and it takes away from the fun, because the complexity of this game is higher than those other games I just mentioned. And when that happens and it's not smooth, you know, it's not like playing Vita Lacerda's big box Euro games, where they're very complex, have a lot of rules, but things flow. I mean, like CO2 Second Chance, that is one of the hardest games I've ever played, most complex, but it just flowed. It didn't get to the table much, but man, so we sold it. But it was an amazing game, and Lori and I liked it. Because of the design and the way it was made, the game flowed and became intuitive after a while. This never becomes intuitive. I just don't like that about this game. So I mean, this is going to be a very short review. We're going to definitely put this on for sale. You know, I'm glad I only paid $22.50 for it, because I'm going to sell it. But in that being what it is, if you are a lover of Spirit Island, they do have, I guess these 5 new spirits are not in Spirit Island, so maybe you'd want to pick up a copy of this just to get the 5 new spirits. I don't know. And for people who love this game, I'm not. That's great. You know, that's wonderful. There's games for everybody and for everybody's taste. Just for the way we like to play games, I would never play this game again. I just didn't feel like it was designed well, because you never get used to play. By the end of the game, we still were not used to the flow, and that just shouldn't happen. As a matter of fact, Lori had to type up the back of the rule book, the turn order, on a computer screen, so we had it over here and could refer to it constantly, because this wasn't even descriptive enough to be helpful. We had to make some changes to the turn order, not the sequence of it, but the description of what was happening, in order to make sure we understood everything we were supposed to do. So, man, I just think it's a huge miss for the publisher to put this in Target, because people, I can't imagine somebody going in, a family person, and, well, let's pick up Horizon Spirit. That's supposed to be a really good game. They will take this home and throw it in the trash after about 2 hours, because you'll never or take it back and get their money back, because they're never going to play this unless they're experienced gamers. This is a gamer's game for sure, and it takes a special type of even gamer to want to play this. I would never play. When I read Spirit Islands at a convention when it first came out, and I went through the rule book, I told her, no. I mean, we're leaving. I've spent a half an hour, 35 minutes reading this rule book, and we're just not going to play it. Maybe we'll get exposed to it later, which, has happened. But I'm glad we didn't sit and agonize over learning this game, because it wouldn't have been worth it then, and for us, it wasn't worth it now. And that is my review of Spirit Island. Now again, Raiders of the North Sea, I'm going to play that one, and we'll also put that in this video and see if I still feel like I like that game, because we played it at a game store one time, and I thought it flowed pretty well. So we're going to revisit that, because I don't like the rest of that series, the West Kingdom and all that stuff. But we'll cover that when we get to it. But this game here is just definitely not something we're going to hang on to or keep or even play again. And I've had games like that in my lifetime, where I play them one time and say, I would not suffer through that again. And I compare the experience to the other night when we picked up Orichalcum by Bruno Cathala. That game just, once you see what's going on, it intuitively flowed. It just flowed. You knew what was going. Oh, I see. Man, I got to do this, and if I do that and do this, then I'm going to do this and this. It just, the way it's designed, the flow of the game is easy to learn, and you eventually start picking it up, and by the end of the game, you're damn near an expert if the game is well designed. But that just didn't happen in this game. And if you are a person who doesn't want to, sit through a rule book like that's 25, 26 pages, and
And we had to keep going back to it.
yeah, and you still had to keep going back to that rule book constantly because there's so special exceptions here and there for little things. And we ended up beating this game, and I can see how you can do things to kick up the difficulty, which you would probably have to do from the basic game, because there were a couple of victor conditions that we emptied the fear deck, which when you reveal the last card, you instantly win. And then also we only had one city left, and we were on level 3, and if we had gotten rid of that city, we would have won the game also. So you can kick this up to, I imagine, to a level where you're going to win maybe half the time, and that's a perfect cooperative board game, is when you're winning maybe 45, 50% of the time. You don't want to win any more than that. You want it to be hard. And this game has definitely got that going for it, but I just don't think it has a good game flow, and that's what kills it for us. So I want to tell you about it, and that's available at Target for those of you who want to try this game. I don't know. There's people that love it. We're just not in that camp.
I think if you played Spirit Island, maybe you'd like this because maybe it'd be quicker. I don't know.
Well, we're not experts at the original Spirit Island, and we're not going to become experts at this Spirit Island. So, for what it's worth, that's our review of Spirit Island. I just don't think it's something we're going to hang on to. Okay. Hey you guys, welcome to Bones Collector, where we just got done playing Raiders of the North Sea, the Viking Edition from Target. And this came out in 2022. The game originally came out in 2015. But this is a Target kind of deal with Horizon Spirit Island, and that's why I wanted to kind of look at these games, because they're inexpensive, and I wanted to see what the difference was. Now, we already played Horizon Spirit Island, and now we just finished playing Raiders of the North Sea. And I just want to talk a little bit about this game like I did with Spirit Island, the production value of it. Because it's $29.99 at Target, and you're going to get those games on sale. And that's what we did. They had a buy one, get one half off, so we ended up paying $22.50 for both the games that we picked up. And this Raiders of the North Sea Viking Edition, I understand the only difference between this and the Raiders of the North Sea that you would get at a game store are the tokens are cardboard chits in this game, and then when you buy this game from a game store for anywhere from $42 to $45, those are going to be wooden tokens. So that's the only difference, is what I understand. Now it's got a nice heavy-duty box. Yep, I always appreciate that, and has a little bit of a divider here, or what do you call it? Insert where you can put stuff, and everything fits in there real nicely. So that's pretty cool. Comes with a draw bag. You use that to seed the board at the beginning of the game. We seed this board with the resources up here in these settlements, they're called. And then also in these harbor areas, we'll also have resources on them. Then you have these offering tiles that are going to be on the board also, and they're nice quality. I mean, everything about this game, I mean, this stack of townsfolk cards that you're going to take into your hand, you'll be playing with these cards. You're going to use them, and they have a couple of different uses. You can hire these and play them down in front of you, or you can take their townsfolk action, which is on the right side of the card, designated by that white arrow and that blue background. You can take that action. So they have a couple of different uses. But the card stock is very nice. Of course, the card art's very good, as it was in the original game, but everything else is, the board is nice. It's pretty thick. I will say this about the Horizon Spirit Island. I did notice that board was pretty thin, and it had a little bit of warping to it when Lori and I looked at it closely. So this is a nice board, and you get these little wooden Vikings just like in the regular edition, and nothing bothered us a bit. I mean, these money tokens are nice, the provision tokens are nice, the dice that you are going to roll for military strength are nice. It was very, very well done. For $22.50, you can't beat it. And on top of that, it's a really fun game. We enjoyed our time with it. We played this when it first came out and never did pick it up. We played it one time. We went to a board game store and they had this out, and we played it and we enjoyed it, and just never really gave it much more thought than that. And over the years, of course, we've known of its existence or whatever, but we played Architects of the West Kingdom, and it was good, but we just didn't think it was good enough to make our library. And then Viscounts of the West Kingdom we've also played, and we didn't think that was really our cup of tea either. But we remembered our experience with this game, and so when I saw it in Target for $29, I said, wow, I mean, Raiders, that's a good game. And here it is on a Target shelf. And Horizon Spirit Island, here it is on a Target shelf. So that's some kind of Target exclusive thing they're doing. And I like seeing good board games mass marketed like that. I really do. Because then people can see them and have the opportunity. Maybe they don't have a game store near them, and Target does a pretty good job. They got some pretty good games in there, but they're usually expensive. You got to be very careful when you're in there and get them when they're on sale or when they have that buy one get one half off deal, which is what we did. But this game is very, very good, and anybody could really play this game. I think this is a game where someone that doesn't play board games could buy this game and figure out how to play it. The rule book is very good, and the font size is very large, so you can learn this game very quickly. Just read the rule book and you understand how to play it. And I think that's very important too. I don't feel like that about Horizon Spirit Island. I feel sorry for some Target shopper that buys that game for their kids and thinks that looks like it will be fun, because it's a beast. It's very difficult to play that game, even in that format. They have a walkthrough guide in the box itself to help you, and we'll pair this up with that Horizon Spirit Island, and I just think that was a bad choice of a game to put in Target. But hey, you know, it did get the price down. You're getting Spirit Island in that box for $29.99, or if you did like us and buy one get one half off, $20.50. So I guess, you know, I have mixed feelings about it. This game is very, very good for us, for our taste. This is a lighter game, light to medium. I mean, there's some things going on in it that you're going to have to understand how they work, but for the most part, what you're going to do, you start out with one worker. It's a black worker, but it doesn't matter. You start out with one worker, you're going to place it on the board to take an action, and then you're going to remove another worker and take that action also. And that's what you do the whole game. You place a worker, take an action, and take a worker and take an action. So you got two actions on your turn. And that's how simple this game is. And then after you get what you need as far as provisions and hired crew, and you're going to go to location and draw cards and stuff like that. But once you get everything you need, then you're going to go up these settlements and start plundering and raiding these areas up here for points and get resources and so forth, so that you can score points and military points and Valkyrie. And these cards don't stay down in front of you the whole game. When you take a Valkyrie token off the board, you have to fire one of your crew and get rid of them. That can hurt a little bit.
I believe they're dead, not fired.
Yeah, they're dead. Oh, we said we hire and fire. We don't kill.
I believe the game kills them.
And it does kill
We just
them.
throw them in the water and they can swim.
But we just hire them and fire them. Yeah, we take them to the shore and kick them off. You're lazy. Get out of here. Yeah, but the game is at a level where I think anybody that picks this up at Target can read the rule book and play it. And it's a wonderful game that you'll play a long time. It does not overstay its welcome. I think we didn't time it, did we?
We did not.
No. I think I'm going to guess it was an hour.
It might have been a little longer because we were kind of relearning as we went.
Yeah, but this is the first time we played it since it came out.
And it took us no time to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And it's been like 4 years since we played it.
And it was fun. I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
we had a good time. We're going to hang on to this one. Spirit Island, I'm not going to hang on to. I thought that was a little too much work for me. This game is wonderful by Shem Phillips, and I can see why it's so popular. I think it's I think it's like rated 8 still on Board Game Geek, which, you know, that's not the gospel for sure. As a matter of fact, it's very flawed, but this is a good game, is my point. And there's just a lot to do, a lot of nice things, a lot of good mechanics going on in this game. Multi-use cards, like I say, worker placement, contract fulfillment with these offerings here, and oh yeah, your hand management, because you're going to have a hand of cards. And it has a limit. You can only hold 8 cards. You can only have 8 cards in your hand. You can only have 8 money. You can only have 8 provisions. And it reminds you on your scoring card right there at the bottom of those things. And it also reminds you that some of the resources are worth points at the end of the game. So stuff that's really, really good to know. And then you're simply going to have to figure out what some of these cards do. It has text on them on the left side and text on the right, and it's a timing thing, because you're not going to keep all these cards. Once you start taking Valkyrie tokens to move up this Valkyrie track, you have to fire these guys and get them out of your hand. So you want to squeeze every bit of benefit out of them you can before you give them their walking papers. But man, I tell you what, it's just a fun game. Again, light to medium board game by Shem Phillips, and for us, of all the ones we've played by him, this one we like the best. And it does have a little bit of interaction. I think a couple of the cards have take a resource from opponent, or trade cards, same equal number of cards. You know, in that case, you would just say, well, I want to trade 3 cards, and they would have to, which you select, and they will select 3 cards out of their hand and give them to you. You know what you're getting. Maybe you just don't want the cards in your hand. I don't know. I don't know if I would ever do that one. I read that one, and I don't know. And the other one was take a resource from your opponent. And then,
which he did.
Yeah, which I did. I needed it at the end of the game. And there was one other one I made you pay a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said all opponents pay 1 coin back to the general supply. And of course, she's my only opponent, and she had $1 left. I said, hey, you know what? I'm playing, because you're going to run out of spaces. If there's a worker on a certain space that you want to go to, or an action that you want to take, well, you can take and place the one worker you have, which I placed on the town hall, and I had 1 card in my hand. You know, so I needed to place my worker and take an action, so I did that, made her pay $1. And then what I really wanted to do was another action that had one of these Vikings already on it, and I took that off the board, and that would be my next Viking, and then I took that action. So sometimes you get caught to where, I want to take that action, but there's a Viking there. So you're going to have to place one where you on something that's maybe your second choice of what you'd like to do, but then on the return, when you take another Viking off the board, you're going to take that action. That's the action you really wanted to do. So that's kind of nice, because once you're getting these Vikings, you're exchanging 1 for 1 every turn. Then you start to look up in the settlements and say, okay, I've got what I need now. I need to start thinking about going up to these settlements and getting some of this plunder and getting points, because you're going to be rolling dice to add it to your armor and your crew strength on the cards, and you add all that together, and it has a chart that tells you how many points that you get for whatever military strength you ended up with, and then you start moving around this points track. So it's very fun. I mean, the game is it's thematic because of the nature of the theme. You know, these are Raiders of the North Sea, these are Vikings, and I just like the way it works. I mean, it's worker placement, and then you're going up here and just going to pillage all these settlements and take all the stuff that these people work hard for away from them. As the Vikings do, apparently. You're going to start out with a black Viking, and then you will start placing these workers. But as you move around the board, when you have to go up here to these settlements, it tells you what color Vikings you can go to the harbors and to the outposts and monasteries and then to the fortresses. There's specific colors of Vikings that you have to use to go up there, so that as the game progresses, you're going to have those different color Vikings down here, and you may want to go to a fortress. Well, a fortress, you can only use a white Viking, so you're going to have to make sure when you're ready to go up there that you have a white Viking in front of you when you go to take your turn. So, you know, you're just going to have to manipulate those workers so that happens for you. And then when you go on your next turn, you can place that up in the fortress area and pillage and plunder up there and get points. So, and then down here you can use it says right on the board what color of Vikings it takes to go to these areas. This monastery you can use white or gray, and in the harbor you can use gray at this outpost. Here you can use black and gray, and you can use black and gray here and black and gray there. So you have to have the right color Viking to perform that function, or for that worker placement space, and it tells you on the board what that is. And again, I mean, it's pretty impressive production value for the price point, and I like the fact that it's relatively inexpensive, because we like games that for us are light to medium complexity and offer a fun factor. And this game does perform that function. And I think this is the type of game here that will grow board gaming. And I could name a bunch of games that hobbyists play that just do nothing to to really grow this hobby. These type of games grow the hobby. They're inviting and accessible and not intimidating. There's nothing worse than having, and this has happened. I mean, you see people invite someone over to their house to play a game, and they get out some Twilight Imperium 4. You know, and the person maybe is intimidated and never wants to play another board game, or because of the complexity of something like that. There are some games in this hobby that are very difficult to understand and very difficult to play. And I've been playing board games my whole life, and I can still struggle with a new game that I don't understand if it's really complex. And I think that's true of everyone. Of course, I'm not as smart as most people, but we put that aside. But I think that this type of game here is a type of game that needs to be in Target. And I like that. I like that Raiders of the North Sea is in Target for an affordable price point for people, and they can pick this game up, take it home, learn how to play it, and have fun with their family. So that's pretty cool. And that's Raiders of the North Sea, the Viking Edition, a Target exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, and that's pretty neat. So anyways, make sure you like and subscribe. Please take a second and like the video. It just helps out our channel so much. And you did see this video without any commercials. I make sure that we don't monetize these videos. It's just a hobby. It's just a game. And I don't expect you to pay me for it, my time. I just want to tell you about the games so that you can, when you go out and shop for a game, that you can go out and do with confidence that you heard about this game on this channel, that it's something that I'm playing and I say is very good. And hopefully those of you that have gone out and gotten one of the games that we have suggested or talked about on this channel as being good, that you had the same experience that we had. So yeah, Raiders of the North Sea is awesome, and I love every one of you, and keep on board gaming because it's the best hobby on the planet. I'll see you the next time on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye.